no pantanda kukeba keba kinto kyawama. Good afternoon, beloved of Christ. Today is 25th January 2021. I, your brother in Christ, thought that we should share one or two things from the Holy Scriptures as we are living in the last days, when prophecy is being fulfilled in our own sight, in our own hearing. Be part of the history of now to people ahead of us. If you read in the Bible, Philippians 2, verses 13, for it is God which worketh in you both to do all things, to will and to do of his good pleasure. It is God who works in you both to will and to act. Now, if God works in you, meaning that you will not do the things of your own, but you do the things of He who is in you. Now, this is the call to every Christian today. We should not live on our own. Let us live according to He who is in us, would want us to live. Prophecy is being fulfilled. Recently, on 20th January, we all experienced the inauguration of the US President Joe Biden, as the 46th President of the United States of America. And in his speech, he made one point which talked of, or he did show that you follow some principles to do with worship. And if you saw what happened, the same day he took a drive to the cemetery to honor the dead, to show respect to the departed souls. And he also attended the Mass in the Catholic Church. Brethren, that has not happened. If you look at all the US presidents, I think this inauguration was a bit different from these other inaugurations that we've seen, because it was much to do with rituals. The president did a lot of rituals. If you saw, he did attend the Mass and some rituals were performed. Even the issue of going to the cemetery also, it was to do with rituals. What does the Bible say? You will see, as you near the end, things that are supposed to be hidden will be done publicly and proudly. My brother and my sister, away from that, let us remember that the conflict of this world, the great controversy of this world, is between the two kings. Two kings. And these two kings, they have followers. You and I, we have where we belong. It's either you belong to the king of light or you belong to the king of darkness. Now, both kings have the laws to be followed. The King of Light has his own constitution. His own character is revealed in his 10 commandments, in his laws. And the opposite of those laws is the constitution of the King of Darkness. What is happening in the world, brethren? What is happening right now is the fulfilling of prophecy. Look, there's an issue of economic hardships nearly in every country. Here in Zambia, we are struggling. Our economy is dwindling every day. Every now and then, commodities are going high. The prices are running mad. We are unable to buy simple things that you could buy. This time, things are very difficult. Do you know where we are driving to? Do you know who is controlling the world's economy? Look, very soon we are going to have restrictions of worship. Jesus told the disciples, when you see diseases, the spread of diseases, contagious diseases, you know that my coming is nearer. And Luke says, when you see all these things, natural disasters, illnesses, pandemics, pestilences, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. Ask yourselves questions. How many friends, how many relations, how many people do you know that have died within this month out of the pandemic, out of the coronavirus? How many? Last year, so many souls were lost. This year, some souls are being lost. Even today, people are dying. It's very sad, brethren. Even spiritual brothers, spiritual sisters, the workers in the vineyard of God are being taken by this virus. Question: do you know when you might be the one to be taken? You do not know. That is why Matthew puts it clear. Matthew 25 puts it clear. No one knows the hour, nor the time, nor the day when the Son of Man is going to come. You don't know. I do not know. So the best we can do is to prepare. Let us allow God to work in us, to will and to act. Meaning, not our own will should be supremacy. We should always depend on the will of God. I thought it's important that we advise one another. Genesis 15, verses 1. When you feel perplexed, when you feel stressed out, when you feel depressed, brethren, do not fear. Do not fear. Because we have an assurance. Listen to what Genesis 15, verse 1. Genesis 15, verse 1 gives us another assurance. When you see all these things happening, people are quarantined in their houses. People have stopped worshiping. People are scared of one another. Family members cannot visit one another. Friends have stopped even giving each other mere hugs. Husband and wife are not comfortable with one another. Fear all over. Everyone is scared. Everyone is worried. Brethren, there's an assurance. Genesis puts it clear, 15 verse 1. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, do not fear. Fear not, Abraham, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward. Now, listen. There was time also that Abraham was scared of the happenings around him. But because he was a child of God, he was following the steps of God. He was given an assurance by God that Abraham, do not fear, for I, the Lord, am thy shield. I want to give you the same assurance, brother and sister there. All these things are happening around you. All the funerals you've attended, all the family members you've lost, friends, brothers and sisters in Christ, do not despair. Do not fear, for the Lord is your shield. Today, I want us to look at something. When the world has an agenda to destroy even a soul, they will not come direct to destroy that soul. They will do it. They will make a pronouncement to everyone around, but are getting a soul. I want to tell you today that the devil knows his time is running out, and he's targeted the souls of the true children of God. There are so many who claim to worship God today, but they don't worship God. They don't. And our first study, the first part of our study, I want us to look at the one true God that the world might not recognize, because there are so many gods. Thank you so much for listening. For now, I say bye. Meet you next time as we look at who is the true God and how do we identify him. God bless you. Amen.
Naendelenga pano pantanda kukeba keba kinto kyawama natajile kulutwe na kunyuma kafako kyawama kyona mwene naendelenga pano pantanda keba kinto kyawama natajile kulutwe na kunyuma kafako kyawama kyona mwene tukembe kwe ulo kwa wama Pantanda tukisande dokyachi kushatanda nekutwera mubilende tinyemele kwepiba kwetu inotanda bakwetu yatama moba onse bantu benakufa tinyemele kwepiba kwetu tunyemele kwepiba kwetu inotanda bakwetu yatama moba onse bantu benakufa tinyemele kwepiba kwetu tukembe 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 kwehulu kwa wama tukembe kwehulu kwa wama tukembe kwehulu kwa wama tukembe 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 kwehulu kwa wama tukembe kwehulu kwa wama tukembe kwehulu kwa wama.
The greatest constitution, the greatest constitution of every serious Christian is the Holy Bible. These other creeds, these other writings should not have any conflict with the Bible. If whatever you are reading, my sister and my brother, does not agree with the Bible, which is the bigger light to the Christian journey, it's a wrong material. It is possible that you and I might be worshiping a wrong God. Very possible. How do we avoid worshiping a wrong God? Is to know who a true God is. Then we will know who the fake one also is. So many people in the world have worshipped things they don't even know. Others have worshipped animals in the name of worshiping God. And people have received fake blessings that are temporal. Today, I want us to understand and discover together who the true God is and how we can know Him. Remember, we are living at a time when technology is high. The materials are being manipulated, including the Holy Bible. There are so many versions of the Bibles now in the world. Interpretations are being made, especially to serious sentences that holds man's salvation. There's a question, brethren. There's a question. People have said the law of God is long gone. We are living under grace. The question is it true? If the courts of law are still operating, what are they breaking? Can you go and kill someone and then you become scot-free? No. Why? They are borrowing all those from the writings of the Bible. You shall not murder. So the laws of God are still standing. Exodus 20, verses 1 to 17 has the list of the 10 commandments. I'll go through them quickly. But my interest, brethren, is on the first commandment. If you read in verses 2 of Exodus 20, you shall not have other gods apart from me. I want you to circle other gods. When someone tells you other, it means more than one. Other gods. There's a plural. Listen there. Other gods, not other God. Other gods. Meaning there are several. There are a number. There are a lot of gods that are there. But now, the true God is speaking, is giving a warning. You shall not have other gods apart from me. You shall not worship idols. You shall not use the name of God in vain. Remember to keep the Sabbath day holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. You shall not covet thy neighbor's wife, property, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. Now, those are the 10 commandments. But now, let us look at the first commandment. You shall not worship other gods. Let's start that one. So, there is a true God that all of us should worship. These other gods, we are forbidden from worshiping them. How do we understand this? How do we know this true God? How does he look like? What is his color? What is his race? Does he have a nationality? How do we identify him? We will know him by some of the things attributed to him. What are those? Revelation 14, verse 6 to 7. And I saw the first angel flying in the midst of the heaven, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give him glory, for the hour of his judgment has come. Underline the following words. Fear God and give him glory, for the hour of his judgment has come. Fear him. Now, we want to understand who this God should fear. Who is he? Fear him who created the heavens and the earth, the springs of water, the people, the nations, the tongues. Wow. We identify him. There are so many gods, brethren. There are so many gods that would need your worship. But there's only one true God that deserves our worship. And this God is he who created the heavens and the earth, who created the nations where you and I live in, who created the waters, the springs of water, where you and I drink from, who created the people, ourselves. Anything, anyone who never created does not deserve worship and is not a true God. I'm sure now we understand who the true God is. John the Revelator has put it clear. We now identify him. If you get back into the Garden of Eden, Genesis 1, verses 26. What does the Bible say? Maybe we can read this one. Genesis 1, verses 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. And God said. It's God who said. So you see, it's God who created man. Now, there are some individuals that also needs worship. There are some people, there are some spirits that needs worship. Question: did they create? If the answer is no, don't worship them. Who are gods? Since our God we worship lives, because he's saying, let us create man in our own image. We are the living beings. If we're in the image of God, it means he is a living God. Anything that lives can be your God. Your husband can be your God. If you listen to your husband more than you do listen to God, you are worshiping your God, and your husband becomes the other God. If you listen much to your bosses more than you listen to God, your bosses becomes your God. If you pay more attention to the family members more than you would do to God, they become your gods. Are we safe? Can we stand and defend the law of God? Yes, we can. How? Do we have any examples of people who stood and defended the truth or the law of God, especially commandment number 1? Yes, we have. Together we discover Daniel 6. Daniel 6. Daniel 6, we find the story of Daniel. Now, listen to this. During this time, King Darius was the king. Daniel 6, verses 6. The Bible records, then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said, thus unto him King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, here the governors, the presidents, they are making their king to be a god. Hence now, they are prohibiting every person to worship any other god or to worship the true God, so that the king should be worshipped for 30 days. Where was the target? Were they doing this just to show royalty to the king? Were they just being sincere? Were they just being good? The answer is no. Let us discover together. There was a target to this assembly. These words were targeting someone. Verse 4, Daniel 6. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel. Listen to that. Concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion, no fault. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. So they found an occasion concerning the law of God. They knew that the only way they can capture Daniel, the only way they can pin him down, is to do with the law of God. Now, verse 10, Daniel 6. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he knelt upon his knees 3 times a day, and he prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Now, Daniel is aware the decree has been signed that any man who worship the true God within 30 days will be thrown in the den of lions. Because Daniel understood Genesis 15 verse 1 that God was his shield. Daniel understood Philippians 2 verses 13 that God works in you and in I, both to will and to act. He was not scared. What did he do? He opened his windows. You can look here, it's a house. The window is open in his house, and then he worships 3 times a day, and he made sure they saw him. He was worshiping the true God. Verse 11. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. My sister and my brother, Daniel understood Exodus 20 verse 2. You shall not have any other gods. You shall not have other gods apart from me. He decided to worship a true God. He decided to worship a God who created, including the lions that were to eat him. He was not scared. Look at how much you are scared of Corona yourself. Look how much you are scared of Corona. Even reading scriptures, you are scared. You think you might find Corona on the Bible. Just worshiping God, before even the government tells you to stop worshiping, you've stopped worshiping. You are scared. What more if lions were involved? If you were Daniel, would you have defended the law of God the way he did? Would you? Because him it was death penalty. There's no death penalty with you. There's still freedom of worship. My brother and my sister, let me encourage you today. This Daniel defended the commandment number 1. And because the law of God is the character of God, when he was thrown in the den of lions, the owner of the law entered with him, because God works in us, both to will and to act and to actions. So God was working in Daniel, and when Daniel was thrown in the den of lions, lions were seeing their creator, and they worshipped Daniel. The lions worshipped Daniel. They were seeing God in Daniel. I tell you today, though you might run away, though you might be quarantined, it's a good thing to be quarantined. The question is, what have you done in your quarantining room? Have you reached out to save your soul? Have you kept your faith intact, believing in the one true God, the way Daniel did? Time is running out. The law of God is under attack. We've just talked about commandment number 1 and how Daniel defended it, because he understood The only God to be worshipped is the true God. Jesus told them, I am the Lord of the Sabbath. God created, and on the seventh day Sabbath, he rested. That's why he's the God of the Sabbath. Will you do the same? Will you keep yourself intact in your room? There are so many things that are killing you. It's not only corona. Even a mosquito can take you to the grave within your room. Be very careful. Apply wisdom. It's not a bad thing to be quarantined, but the question is, what are you doing in your quarantining? I thought we discovered that one. We've now known who the true God is and who defended the law of God. Next time, we'll look at the law of God, the second commandment. We'll look at again how it was defended by some individuals and how you and I can defend it. And I can stay away from worshiping idols. May God bless us as we always remember that he is your shield and my shield. Therefore, you should not fear. God bless you. Remain well.